I'm Diana, Head of Research and Sustainability at GBBC, and I'm joined here by Bernhard and Severiyos for an announcement that we are extremely excited about. It builds on the concept of humanitarian aid at the intersection of blockchain that we just talked about, specifically for food. And Bernhard.
Yeah, and so I was not going to talk about this in the last panel as much, but like maybe as a starter for this, why is it called Food for Crisis Web3 initiative? Some of you may know this, but right now we're actually living in a global food crisis. There's 333 million acutely hungry people on the planet right now, and the sad part is that number has been rising. Pre-COVID was 135 million people. Right now, 333 million people. Now, that is something that should be concerning for all of us, and this is where, together with GBBC, actually, we got thinking with the World Food Program Innovation Accelerator. It's like, what could we be doing to really make that next step change in like creating more transparency, more trust, more accountability, and also efficiency for donors? If you want to say, I want to give $1, $100, $10,000, $100,000, like maybe $1 million. What assurance can we give you so that we give you additional assurance that you actually want to open not only your heart, but also your maybe crypto wallet or fiat wallet to donate to a cause which is like combating global hunger? And like this is what we essentially embarked on as a journey.
Yes. And the World Food Program has a very comprehensive set of data on the status of world hunger today. I think 1 in 10 people, is it, around the globe, is suffering from a certain amount of food scarcity and hunger. And what does that amount to today?
And just to make this really tangible to you, right? Like, what does this mean? Like, so I'm a firm believer myself, like, no child should go to bed hungry. And, like, there's enough food on the planet right now that everybody could have a nutritious meal and live a healthy life. And so now, this is not going to change all the problems in the world, but that's a kickstart of saying, okay, how can we use Web3 technology to really make a dent and show that the technology can make a positive impact immediately, right now, and at scale? And the excitement here is also to say, like, you know, on a personal level, just imagine, like, you have a family, you have a, like, and these are real cases where we'll have a single mom in Afghanistan with 5 children. She's not allowed to work because of the regime that's currently happening. So, like, what is she supposed to do? Right now, we are trying to help people in these kind of dire need situations to, you know, yes, keep them alive, but then also in other circumstances, whether it's in Colombia, whether it's in South Sudan, in Kenya, you know, to actually help people back on their feet so they can provide for their children and actually have a healthy life going forward. And I think that's really what's driving also the impetus of saying, like, can we do something? We're the World Food Program, active in 120 countries and territories, GBBC, and then we have some exciting new announcements.
We at GBBC have over 500 members that span large corporates, small startups, in emerging markets, in developing markets. We have government organizations, NGOs, academic institutions that are all working in some way or another toward blockchain solutions. And our partnership with the World Food Program has been under the name of Food for Crisis, where we are developing an underlying infrastructure to track and trace donor funds from donation to final beneficiary for the purposes of alleviating cases of hunger. We have identified initial countries that are a good foundation for us to start operating through the contacts of the World Food Program. And we have set up about 6 models of fund flows where the money would flow, whether it's through crypto rails or whether it's through traditional bank transfers, or whether on the ground it could be digital vouchers where people receive money, or in countries in Africa, whether it is mobile minutes that people use, where implementing a toolbox approach, in a way, a menu of options where we will be able to integrate with the local payment systems on the ground, and through the functionality of digital twins, be able to track all of the areas where the money flows in a way where there's no gaps, there's no information asymmetries, there's no duplication of money where people can get two benefit transfers instead of one, and most importantly, where nobody can steal the funds and say that they were donated. And that is where we have partnered also with AIDONIC, which is why we have Severiyos here as the CEO, so that we are able to accommodate tracking and tracing platform that can integrate crypto fund flows. By the way, we will be taking donations in the form of crypto and also donations in the form of any fiat currency, and be able to track all of that. And that is how we will work with AIDONIC in our first pilot. And you can tell us more about the functionality.
Great. First of all, it's a great honor for us as a technology company to be part of this very important cause. At AIDONIC, we are a Swiss-based technology company. Since 5 years, we are innovating with humanitarian organizations to basically digitize the whole process from fundraising, data management, and last-mile aid delivery. This allows basically to create a seamless traceability and transparency experience, not only for the donors, but also for governments, for policymakers, and for involved stakeholders. With AIDONIC, we equipped it with various payout methods and models, such as a global payment aggregator. Through this global payment aggregator, we can disperse cash instantly in more than 200 countries, and then basically store all the transactions that take place between the donors and the last mile recipients on the blockchain. Additionally, we go a step further than that. Having traceability on the funds is one thing, which is extremely important. But even as same important is to track and to capture the real-world social impact data that is created basically in the lives of those we serve. By understanding through this data how we help and serve these people in need, we can basically tailor and improve our responses in this global world, which is affected by so many crises. This important data that we collect is social impact data, which represents also the transparency part of the solution. We compile it and store it into an NFT. This NFT turns into a proof of impact. That means, in the end of the day, your donations are not only lost one day in an Excel spreadsheet, but remain forever, can never be altered, and transform basically into impact investment. An impact that you generate that you can maybe further in the future reuse in secondary markets as digital assets, as a real-world impact asset, and giving them a value that grows over time.
No, and just to say, like, why this is really exciting is, kickstarting the work now on, the first pilot from like funding from corporations, but also high net worth individuals, foundations to actually do this, like with large transactions first, and then in future it's going to be also like with retail donors and potentially also funding like actually startups or innovations that can sustainably end hunger through that same transparency system that we're talking about here. And of course, if anybody here is excited about this, like feel free to reach out to us, raise your hand now, that's also possible. But like, I think we're as excited. Could be funding, could be like in-kind support, your experiences, your technology, like things that you have. Because I think I personally believe that by doing that, we can excite more people. We can actually give more trust to the process. And maybe people out there, they want to give, right? Like they actually think like, yeah, I care about the topic, but I'm not sure if it's really reaching the people. And through that, better transparency, better accountability, better proof of like also the impact that you're having. I think there's an opportunity right there, and I'm hopeful that can help us, really make a big impact.
We have already secured commitments and support from some major name organizations. we are open to working with more. As we've stressed already, the importance of collaboration and bringing together participants to come up with solutions. We really believe that we can end SDG number 2 and end hunger through blockchain transparency and trust. And thank you so much.
Thank you.